Hey friends, how are you all? Oh my goodness. Here we go. I want to talk about this. I just want to dive straight into this. A couple of days ago, I made a post. I don't even remember what post. Um, but some random man decided to troll me, as random men tend to do, which is fine. Um, so this guy had a Quentin Tarantino giving the finger profile picture. And then he had a Bubbles from Trailer Park Boys banner, and he had 5 whole followers. So usually I would be like, I'm not listening to this person. And his comment on my post was saying that talking about my journey that I've kind of been going on and this small tweak to how I've been showing up with respect to my faith and my spirituality made me look desperate. Like, obviously, I want to craft this very cunning response and be like, stick it up your butt, or like, suck bricks, kid. Like, from Home Alone. He's like throwing bricks off the apartment building. Suck bricks, kid. I really wanted to like tell him off, which isn't very nice, but I wanted to. I didn't. I just blocked him. And it doesn't really matter how much you work on yourself, how much personal development you do, how solid you are and who you are and what you do, and confidence is really strong. Sometimes people just say weird shit and it rattles you a little bit. And so I don't feel like I was rattled, but I just kept having this lingering, it just kind of kept coming into the back of my mind being like, what if you're desperate? What if people perceive me, as being desperate? And I was like, that doesn't feel nice at all. I don't want people to think that I'm desperate because there's no nice way to be desperate. So I was like, okay, let's go to Google. Google is your friend. I'm like, let's look up the definition of Google, on Google. And I'm getting kinds of terrible things, of course, because it's not a very good word. But it was like despair, like everything has failed. There's little hope, like last ditch effort. And I was like, oh my God, none of these feel like me. I don't feel that at all. This is not resonating in any way, shape, or form for me and how I feel. But if I'm going to toy around with, and I really want to utilize this time to challenge you a little bit also, and push you out of the nest, push you out of your comfort zone. What if you allowed yourself to be some of these things? So I was like, what if I allowed myself to be desperate? What if I allowed myself to be perceived as a desperate, crazy girl? What would happen if I was cool with being desperate? And so as I'm scrolling, it's like, see more, see more. I'm like, yeah, you definitely got to tell me more here because I like little hope, everything has failed, despair. No, 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 no. Don't like those. Those are not good. But then one of the last ones I see says great need or desire. And in my mind, I went, oh, I can work with that. I can work with great need and desire. So if I'm going to work with that and I'm going to allow myself to plunge, say head first, but I don't know how to dive. So we're just going to hop off the edge of the void and into the unknown depths and darkness of being desperate and exploring that and trying to see how that feels in my brain and how that feels in my body if I allow myself to be perceived by strangers on the internet, friends on the internet, as desperate. If I'm going to manipulate it, which I feel that if we're going to overcome shitty emotions, we need to keep adjusting the lens. And I immediately think of like, when you go to the eye doctor and they're like, better one, better two. And that sounds me like changing the lens or like better one, better two. Um like we're changing the lens in which we're viewing our perception of these emotions, of these like words that people may or may not use to describe us. We have to manipulate it in order to get to a good place with it. We just have to. And if you can get to a good place with it, you can allow multiple things to exist at once. And so like for most of us, for a lot of us, even for me, I shared a post last week where I was talking about how like one of my biggest fears is being perceived as stupid. And that comes from like a whole thing in my childhood where I was in 7th grade. I wasn't 7. I was in 7th grade. I was like 14 years old. I had like a growing out perm. I never should have had a perm. I didn't know how to take care of it. My hair was crazy frizzy. I had glasses. I had braces. I was the least popular kid in school. I was bullied so terribly. We have this end of the year assembly, and there are 14 academic awards for the whole school, and I won all of them. Like, yay, good for me. Did not make me any cooler, that's for sure. But my parents were so proud of me, and my dad took a picture of me on stage at the end, surrounded by all of these trophies and plaques and certificates that I was holding up. And then he put it in the newspaper, being like, well, I'm so proud of her. But then when the newspaper arrived, he cut it out and he laminated it and he carries it in his wallet. And I am not 14 anymore. I am mid to late 30s. We don't need to get into it. He still has it. And that wasn't a reflection of me. That is all him being excited to talk about me to whoever wants to listen to him and like show me off. Like he was so proud of me, and I get that. Like that as a parent, you feel like it's a reflection of you as a parent when your kid is doing something awesome. But that made me feel like I could never be stupid. Like that can't be a thing. People cannot think that I'm stupid. People can't think I'm dumb. I really need people to see and know that I am a smart girl. I'm a smart woman. Can't be perceived as stupid. And so for like that's me. Desperate's not the thing for me. That's stupid is for me. But maybe for you it's I don't want people to see me as a failure. I don't want people to see me as salesy. I don't want people to see me as like a bad mom or a bad person. Like we have all of these things that we're running from, we're actively avoiding because we don't want to be perceived as this thing that in our minds is negative. And so I was just talking in my membership about this exact thing. If we're going to manipulate it and understand that it's two sides of the same coin, we just naturally tend to go to like the negative side. But like, what even does any of this mean? Number one, like, I'll keep using my example. I have a degree. I have a pre-med degree. I was a stockbroker for like 7 years. I was licensed. I have all of the certifications and things that I needed to do. I got them myself. I didn't go to school for them, obviously. I self-studied. I have other certifications to do with my current business. Like, I'm a smart woman. But like, what is smart and what is stupid? What are the standards? What are the metrics? Because we can certainly change them around to fit the narrative we want. We can change the game any old time. So, the example that I used when I was saying to my clients today, I said, okay, I can sit here and say I'm smart, but there are lots of things that I'm stupid at, and lots of things that you would think people are like not smart are smart in other ways. So I said, if you took me out of my house, pulled me out of my house, took me downtown, and dropped me in a homeless encampment, I would be the dumbest person in there. Not because I got myself there, because I wouldn't know how to survive. So, everyone in there, I'm looking to every person in there going, help me survive. I don't know anything. I don't know how to live. I don't know where to live. I don't know how to get a phone. I don't know anything. I don't even know if I could find, I know where like the women's shelter is, but like I don't, do I go there? Like I don't fucking know. I don't know. So now all of a sudden like I'm not the smartest person in the room. And like, you should never be the smartest person in the room. There's always room for like learning and growth, but it's all on the metrics. It's all on the game. It's all on the rules that you're applying to yourself to say, am I too salesy or am I not salesy enough? Am I successful or am I a failure? Am I smart or am I stupid? You can change it to support whatever story you want it to tell. Like success, failure, what does that even mean? What does that even mean? What is failure? What is success? What are the markers? What are the metrics? Whatever you want them to be, you get to make them up. And at the end of the day, they don't actually really mean anything. They're just illusions. They're just perceptions that your brain controls. And what I perceive as smart, stupid, desperate, not desperate, salesy, not salesy are going to be different than yours. And anyone else that's listening or watching or hanging out there, it's all different. It's all relative. You get to make it up. That's a relief. So, great need or desire. I like it. It feels better. And I know that this guy was trying to say that I was some kind of creepy scammer person trying to swindle. I have no like need or desire to do that. That's definitely not my vibe or my energy. But do I have a great need or desire? Yes, I do. I do have great need and desire. And it's not to swindle, it's not for financial gain. The first like intuitive hit that just like gut punched me of like, what do I have a great need and desire for? My clients, you, the woman out there that has a mission and a purpose and is like trying to get her message out there and have that deep impact and that influence. I very much need and desire you to have that because that's my purpose is to help you do that. Help you get your mission out there, help you get your message out there. I do that through marketing. Doesn't matter to me what your business is. Most of us are getting our purposes monetized. I'm a marketing expert. I'm a sales expert. I'm a content expert. People come to me to get their mission and their message and their marketing in front of more eyeballs so that they can get the impact or create the impact that is their purpose. I talk about the big three all the time: health, wealth, relationships. I have a great need and a desire for you to have the impact that you desire. Desire twice, whatever. I am very much okay if every person on this platform thinks that I am desperate, if they see that I have a very great need and a desire for them. That's where my heart is. So I'm cool as a cucumber to be desperate. That really shifted for me. Again, desperation is not like one of the things I'm afraid of. But when we think of the things that we're afraid of, like we're running from one and to another. So like we're running from stupidity and to being validated as a smart person, or we're running from failure to being validated as successful, or, whatever it is for you. If they both have to exist, they have to exist. You can't have a one-sided coin. If they both have to exist, how can we allow for them both to exist? How can you allow yourself to be perceived as the negative side so that you can be perceived on the positive side? Also, understanding that all of the things that you're afraid of, when you let fear drive the bus and you pretend that you are a passenger in life and you're just passenger princessing, looking out the window with your little iced coffee, whatever emotion is the motivator, is the driver, it's going to slam head first, collision into the thing that you're trying to avoid. But because you just put your hands up and sipped your coffee and looked out the window, like you let fear take control and smash into the things that you're running from. So, like, if you're afraid of, oh, I'm afraid of failing, I've got this launch going on and I'm afraid no one's going to buy it. I'm white knuckling it. I'm so scared no one's going to buy it. What happens? The fear of nobody buying it is driving the bus, which means all of your content and all of your energy and all of your mindset is focused on no one's going to buy this thing. And then what happens? The big thing you're afraid of happens. Nobody buys the thing. But guess what? That's okay, because like you don't die in a fiery crash. You live to see another day, but that habit cycle continues because like the devil it's always more comfortable than the things you don't. No matter how much I can sit here and say, you could let the opposite emotion, thought process drive the bus. You could drive the bus. Oh, I'm going to fill this. I'm going to fill this launch. All the spots are going to get sold. It's going to be the best thing ever. The most amazing ladies are coming, or people are coming. We're going to have such a good time. They're going to pay me in full. It's going to be the best month of my life. If you believed that and you let that be your motivator and the way you drive, we're keeping the car crash. I mean, you're going to collide. You're going to collide right into those things, though, because those are the things that are driving. They're driving you. How are you showing up? What are you saying? What's your content saying? How are you feeling? All driven by emotion. Or you can drive the bus and go, emotions are made up and it's all just like an illusion, a perception going through my brain filter would look completely different through somebody else's. And I'm just gonna kind of take control here. Easier said than done. No matter how much I can say, hey, there's like a meadow full of beautiful flowers and pretty birds singing over here. And you're like, well, I'm in a dungeon over here, but I'm used to the dungeon, so I'm not coming out because brains don't want to do heavy lifting. You're probably going to stay in the cave. So, yep, it's easier said than done. But what if I challenged you, which I am challenging you, to sit in the crappy emotion and embrace it and allow it to be part of you just for a few minutes? Like, what content are you writing from that energy? What videos are you recording? What podcasts are you recording? What email are you writing? where you're like, I don't care if my audience thinks I'm salesy, if they think I'm stupid, if they think I'm desperate. I don't care. What would you say? How would you show up? What would be different for you? You don't have to hold it forever. Don't expect you to. Can you hold it for 5 minutes? Can you speak from that and just see what happens? Can you allow comfort in the discomfort? Can you give yourself the opportunity to manipulate the narrative and change it? Because again, we are all just making it up as we go along. And your definition might be different than mine, might be different than anyone else that's listening or watching. We get to change it all the time. We get to change the rules. We get to change the game. So, can you? Will you? And what is that going to look like? That's it for me today. I just wanted to share that. It felt like such a transformative moment for me to just be like, whatever you guys think about me, stupid, salesy, desperate, whatever, maybe I am, and maybe it's okay. And maybe whatever people think about you, what if you let it be true and it's just okay? Can we make it good? Can we not be bothered by it if it's bad? Can we accept that it's two sides to the same coin and one can't exist without the other, so everything's fine? We'll see. I'm curious. I'd love for you to like message me if you wrote something or created something where you went out on a limb and embraced the discomfort and like leaned into the things that you're afraid of so that you can go towards the things that you desire. Like, message me, share with me. I want to celebrate you. All right. I hope you have an amazing rest of your day, and I'll see you all later.